171 of Fergo on the Break. I'm that bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP. Join me as always is the glorious LeagueFreak. You can also find on Twitter at LeagueFreak. How you going there, mate?
I'm just completely heartbroken, and I don't see the point of even doing a podcast anymore. I mean, you know what, Andrew? You wouldn't understand the struggle of having to talk about rugby league on a podcast when your team isn't good. You just wouldn't understand what I'm going through.
I thought you were going to say when it's September. Sorry. I mean, I've been watching tennis the last few weeks. I mean, what else is on?
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I must say, I think last weekend was the first time we got to see two genuinely good games of footy in the finals. And they were both very good games of footy as far as I'm concerned, especially the Panthers Broncos game.
Yeah, that game, that was one of those special games. I thought that the Melbourne versus Sharks game was like a very good regular season game.
It wasn't too bad. I think the thing that I liked about it is Melbourne dominated every aspect of that first half, except their discipline in defence let them down time and time again, and it just left the door open enough for the Sharks to stay in the hunt. The number of times the Storm gave away penalties when they had the Sharks attack inside their own 30, and then they gave them a piggyback out of their own half with a stupid penalty. Yeah. And the penalties were legit. And there was a lot of ill discipline in that game. And I saw there was a lot of people on social media afterwards going, "Oh, there are 18 penalties in that game." I was like, but everyone's just going to sit there and blame the referee. Yeah, the referee's going to make a few mistakes. He didn't make fucking 18 of them.
No, and like I tell you what, Andrew, I don't like Ashley Klein.
I know you don't, but at the same time, I don't think he had a bad game there. I don't remember watching that game going, man, he had some howlers there. I just looked at him and went, yeah, they all look legit, and both sides were just really ill-disciplined in defence.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree completely. And you know, that game, I think that there were a few players in the Sharks that you saw they don't have that next level in them. I think Will Kennedy was one of them. I think Trindle was another one of them. And, you know, the Storms kind of, I don't think that they really went up too many gears to beat the Sharks. But I think that if it was a team other than the Sharks, the Storm might have been in a bit more trouble. But, you know, the Storm got there. That's all that matters. That's the thing about the great teams is they can not play great and still win. And that's why they're great teams.
Yeah. The Storm had, they brought back Jerome Hughes with the busted arm.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe he got through the game, hey?
Yeah. I tell you what, too, I don't know, given the game plan they went with, I don't know that they needed to risk him in the game either. Because when I watched him play, I know he scored a try from a line break, but to be honest, that wasn't because of something that was unique Jerome Hughes skill. That was because the defence just wasn't there in the middle, and he took advantage of it. And I think if that was Pappenhausen who got that ball on the inside, which happens more often than not, he would have scored that try anyway himself. Yeah. I think they ended up hiding him an awful lot, and Munster took over a lot of... He did what we call the... and I always say we, I mean you and me. The Luai in the World Cup sort of stuff where he was playing halfback and 5'8" at the same time.
Yeah.
Munster was doing a lot of that in that game, and my God, he was superb.
Yeah, he was very good. You know, the only other time I've seen someone do that was the couple of weeks before, with Matt Burton having to play centre and 5'8" and halfback.
Yes.
That's fucking insane. And then people are like, oh, he's not a very good defender in the centres. It's like, he's doing everything. Can we just give him
everywhere?
Break? Yeah.
He's everywhere.
Poor dude.
So they were moving Hughes around a lot in the defensive line to make sure that the Sharks couldn't just pinpoint him and run at him the same play all the time. Like, he'd drop the fullback every now and then. He'd be like second man and like half a step behind the defensive line, so other forwards or other players would take the brunt of the hit and he'd affect the rest of the tackle, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's how they preserved him through. It was really smart, but it meant too that they had to change their game plan a little bit and tweak it to accommodate that.
Yeah.
The Sharks the one thing they did wrong and that they abandoned for that game, they did everything else similar to what they did throughout the whole final series. And they didn't play horribly, but they stopped trying to make meters through the middle when they got just across halfway.
Yeah.
They went sideways too early.
Yeah.
And the other thing we saw a bit too is something that Robbie Farah used to do when he was trying too hard sometimes at the Tigers to get the forwards moving.
Mm.
And it actually had the opposite effect. And you'll see sometimes Damien Cook will do it, where he'll run out of dummy half, he'll take 2 steps, and then he'll pass it to a forward.
Yeah.
All you've done when you do that is you've got the defenders who are in the middle. They start moving in closer. So when the forward gets the ball anyway, there's already like 4 defenders in front of him. He makes no meters.
Yeah, he's getting whacked.
And the dummy half hasn't actually made any meters himself of any value either. And Brayley was doing bits of that during the game. And while he was doing it quicker, like he was doing the one-handed scoop, but he'd run forward 2 steps and then pass. You like either just fire it out to the half quickly, mate, or fucking run.
Yeah.
At the moment, you're doing half and half. And it wasn't doing anything to the Melbourne defence in the middle other than condensing them and helping stop most of the forwards. Adam Fanua-Blake was fucking immense.
Yeah, he was great. He was great.
He made so many post-contact meters, man. He was huge in the middle. But
there's a sliding doors moment where, remember, he signed with the Sharks last year, and then it must have been 3 or 4 days later, James Fisher-Harris announced he was leaving the Panthers. And there's a sliding doors moment where he goes to the Panthers instead, just takes that James Fisher-Harris money. And I think that's how it would have worked out.
Probably.
And, it's weird to think about something like that happening. But, he was great. I thought Nicho Hynes, it was weird. I saw a lot of criticism about him. I thought Nicho Hynes did all right.
I'm the same. Like, he had one knock on when they were attacking the line, and that was it. And I think that's probably what everyone attached themselves to. But he was playing much more intelligently and much more traditional halfback stuff, and it made a lot more sense. He was varying his kicks. He was mixing up when to run and when to pass, and he was choosing when to run pretty well. And he was mostly camped on the right side, and he had them moving pretty well out there, even though the strike attacking weapons are on the left.
He was their best half by a long way.
Yeah, and their right side was looking much stronger than their left, even though the left's got, I think it's got Iro and Mulatalo over there.
Yeah.
The right side was looking so much better. Katoa made a ton of meters because of it. I just
didn't see the criticism. Like, I understand you dropped that ball and it's like, oh, that's a killer. And it was a killer moment.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like that was the end of their chances. And I just thought he played really good. And so when I saw people like getting into him, I was like, what the fuck were they watching? Because I just didn't understand it. And look, we've been critical of him until this year, really, where I think this whole run, he was actually pretty good and he got better and better. So I can't blame him for it. And it was good to see. You know?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that was because the Sharks did finally realise that they needed Trindle to take over more of the ball playing responsibilities because it frees up Hynes. And that's what we saw these last 2 months.
Yeah.
But I think there's just players out there that, and I'm talking about fans of their own club, they just want to hate on. And I think Sharks fans just, because Hynes didn't turn up and give him a premiership or whatever, or he had a few bad games in a row, or it might have been just because he played horrible in Origin when he was picked out of position and played completely incorrectly. For the way he was used in those Origin games he played, if that's how they wanted to use him, they should have just picked someone else because they didn't use him for his strengths. They used him completely wrong.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, they just want to hate on him and say, oh, he's just no fucking good. And some Sharks fans I've seen on Twitter have been turning on William Kennedy.
Yeah, look, I was pretty critical of William Kennedy in that game. I just thought,
and I wouldn't say he's a shit player though.
He's not a shit player, but he's a good regular season player, and I think that's where his ceiling is. I don't think he's an addition in the finals like you want out of your fullback, and look, that's fine. He's a pretty damn good player, but there are some players that don't have that extra gear, and I feel like maybe he's one of them from what I saw this year in the finals.
I'm not too sure. I don't.
Okay.
I don't think he's that bad. And I know I've seen a lot of Sharks fans hanging shit on him all season, not just in the finals.
Yeah.
And he was pretty safe. I didn't see him drop any ball. His kick returns are pretty solid. He doesn't shy away from running the ball back. So I don't think he's that bad. I think he's in the top half of fullbacks out of all the fullbacks out of the game. I don't think he's in the bottom half of them.
Yeah, definitely. I just think that it's an area that maybe, and it's like, getting an elite fullback is hard to get, but it is one area they could definitely improve on. But we were saying the same thing about Nico Hines this time last year too. So a player can always turn a corner. And that's important. That's one of the things that I think, if you talk about footy and stuff, you've got to be willing to say when something has changed, or when you saw a change, or when somebody did better than your expectations, or when you were flat out wrong. We've talked about being wrong on this podcast before. Like, you got to be able to say it. And if you can't say it, then like, what the fuck are you talking about footy for? Because the whole point is that if you're watching rugby league and you really do know what everything is that's going to happen, and no one does, but if you know everything that's going to happen, you must be bored out of your mind. And this fucking game is so unbelievable. That's why we watch it, because you see the unexpected all the time. It's amazing.
Speaking of amazing, the last thing I want to race on this game.
Yes.
Did you see that kick that Munster put in that Pappenhausen scored a try from? Because in the end, that was the play that sunk the Sharks.
Yeah. I think that was one of those things that probably was seen in footage by the coaching staff. And they were like, in this situation, Kennedy comes up and there's all this space because Pappenhausen was already making his run when that kick was put through. And for me, I was just like, that's the coaching staff.
But he's running left and then kicks the ball by swinging. He's instead of just kicking with his normal stride, he's kicked the other direction. Like, he's running left, and with his right kicking foot, he's kicking the ball back on the right-hand side. And it lands basically not far in front of Pappenhausen, who then toes it ahead and then gets just horrible bounce after horrible bounce until the one bounce that's actually good is the one where he goes to plant the ball. It bounces and rolls low and flat, and he gets it down. So the stars aligned in that little millisecond right there as he needed to plant the ball. But that just kept the Storm constantly a try and a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
And that second half was really a war of attrition. Like, both sides just could not get through each other's defences until Melbourne got through for a try. Sharks scored one at the very end, but it was, it didn't alter the result at the end. But I think the Storm, as you said, they show that they do have room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Sharks were not quite their absolute best, but they weren't too far off it. They were defensively as good as they've been all year.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would concern me if I was the Sharks, that it's not like you can say, well, they were off that game. I think they were pretty close to their best, and it still wasn't good enough against a Storm team that wasn't at their best. And so you've got to consider, like, what do you do for that next step? There are a lot of veterans in that Sharks team, and maybe they need an injection of new blood into the side. But, being a coach of a team, no coach wants to tear things down that he knows is a known quantity for the unknown that might improve them. It's just a really hard sell for a coach when you just made the preliminary.
Yeah. And they've been showing signs of improving the last 2 months, not going backwards either. So it's hard to want to make too many changes anywhere.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do there. But Melbourne have shown a type of adaptability to their opponents and situations that I'm not sure any other team can match. There's other teams have got better defenses. Other teams might have better attack. But I don't think teams are more versatile and adaptable on the run than the Storm. And that's the unknown quantity that they have. And a lot of that does come down to Munster.
Yeah. Yeah. There comes a point where they've got a consistency in their performance against so many different types of teams. And then you get someone like a Munster and even Hughes that can go that extra mile. Like Harry Grant is another one where they can be the difference makers in the performance. And, I wonder if Craig Bellamy looked at his teams over the years and thought maybe that he produced sides that were so refined, but if somebody come up with a game plan against that exact sort of team that he had, that they didn't really have other options. And so he's built more of an all-around team. Because if you think about it, there are a lot of guys that are utility players in his team that he has in different positions. Like even someone like a Munster. Munster can play fullback if you really need him to. Hughes can play fullback if you really needed him to. He's got a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things rather than too many guys that are really focused on they just do one thing. I hope that makes sense anyway.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. And yeah, I guess that's another one was Harry Grant was also very good against that game against the Sharks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's just one of those guys he's found out how to, play at about 80% of his capability pretty much most of the year. And then when it gets to finals or a rep game, you just go, okay, I'll just switch it up a little bit now. And just like that does it.
Yeah, and I remember him in last year's grand final press conferences. He was hurt, and I've never seen a player carry the pain of a game so much on their face. And I remember watching that thinking, man, next year he's going to be horrible to play against. And I think that when it's been those moments when the Storm have needed someone to step up, he has delivered in that sense. And no doubt that's driving him on.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine, when has there ever been a situation when a team has lost someone like Cameron Smith and immediately replaced him with Harry Grant? You go from one absolute elite player to the next.
Trying to think, like the Storm have done it in different levels, but not at that level. Yeah.
Like the only one that comes close in my mind is, and it's not the same, or maybe it is, when Wally Lewis left and Kevin Malters replaced him.
Yeah. I think with the Storm, you think the Storm went from Richard Swain, who was a soft tackler, and then they go and they get basically Cameron Smith, and then they get Harry Grant, and then you've got the Storm had Robbie Ross, who was a pretty damn good fullback. And then I think the next guy they had who was after him?
Wasn't
Robbie Ross?
Wasn't it Matt Guy for a brief
It was, yeah. It was Matt Guy. And then they end up in the Inglis Slater era. And then they go into Pappenhausen. I mean, that's a pretty good run there.
That's not bad. Yeah. I mean, we could go on that one forever. That's a rabbit hole for another time.
Yeah, all of a sudden our brains we start sitting here. This is normally something we do after the podcast where we sit here in silence and go, what about in 73 when, who did the fucking Seagulls have after Bobby Fulton? And we start becoming weirdos. We become all autistic and shit.
We do.
Yeah.
Nerd out, we turn into Rain Man.
Yeah.
All right, so the next game, I didn't get to see all of this game.
Oh, man.
Due to work, but I got to see some of the highlights and stuff. So I'll leave this to you because obviously you want to, get pissed off and cry and that sort of stuff. Because that's every time the Panthers lose.
Look,
I'm laughing because that's not true.
Yeah, I know. I got a list of reasons why the Panthers were screwed in this game. Let me pull it out. It's called the Ricky Stewart list. No, look, first half, Panthers 14-0 lead. They just were doing all the Panther things. Really, it was an absolutely perfect Panther half of football. A lot of possession, grinding down the Broncos. The Broncos fans were going off. It was a real Panthers half of football. Then we come out in the second half, and the Panthers have a lot of chances to really ice the game early on. And this is where the game was won. The Broncos' goal line defense, they were like fucking spider monkeys. They were pouncing around everywhere and just making these unbelievable last-ditch tackles. The Panthers would get an overlap and they'd somehow recover in time. And at the end of the day, that's where it was won. And then we get this situation where the last 30 minutes of the game almost mimicked the 2023 grand final. And you and me talked about this last week, where there was it wasn't like the Panthers played bad. There was just this magical momentum that the Broncos, and you felt it, and the crowd was going crazy. And the Broncos were playing their asses off, and the Panthers were tackling their asses off. And like the game was on a knife edge through the entire time, because you knew if the Panthers scored a try, it was basically going to be it. And the Broncos were doing crazy stuff to win, and they were just getting tries and stuff. And then it comes down to this moment where Reece Walsh, he gets the ball and he's dancing around and he gets wrapped up by like 2 or 3 Panthers players, and he chucks this ball out and it looks like a Hail Mary thrown out to anyone, but it's this most perfect pass to his winger, and his winger gets the ball and beats 2 Panthers, and he beats like one of the Panthers he beat was fucking Lindsay Smith, who's a prop that's out there. Like the Panthers were fucking everywhere and they score, and then like there's a chance to kick the go-ahead goal, and they come back from 14-0 down and they win this incredible game. And it was just a special moment. And I was clapping the Broncos. Like, how could you not? And it was just this special moment. And I wasn't sad even slightly, because it was what the Panthers went out on their shield. They fought their ass off. The Broncos, who they ripped their hearts out 2 years before, and then they get this moment in front of their fans, and all these Broncos players that had been through that horrible experience now had this moment. And damn it, if you don't love rugby league, you'll never love rugby league after watching that game. That was amazing. And so when the Panthers run ends, I've always wondered, what will it feel like when their run ends? And I was just like, damn it, I love this fucking game. This game is so good. Just such a special moment, such a special occasion. And
I was going to say, the thing that I found really, I'd say almost poetic, is the fact that I'm pretty sure that the Broncos scored very close to the same minute in that game, the last try, as to what the Panthers did in the grand final in 2023.
Yeah, there was I think that there was a few minutes left in 2023. And
I was just looking on NRL.com, and it said here that the Broncos scored last week in the 75th minute. In the grand final, Cleary scored in the 76th minute. So it's seconds between them.
There you go. And like, we talked about it last week, and it was kind of amazing to see it play out. It was romantic. And, that was just such a special occasion, and you knew it. It's really weird when you watch something and you're like, wow, I'm watching something special right now. And see those Broncos players get their moment like that was kind of amazing. And see it happen in the same way, where it's like in 2023, the Broncos didn't play bad at all. It was just this undeniable thing happened, and it was the same thing in this game. And man, it was a special moment. And, you could only come out admiring what the Panthers had done, especially after what football-wise had been a really tough year, coming from last place for them and getting that far again. And, it was cool. It was so cool. I was so pumped up after that game.
Well, I was going to say too, I saw on the, I went to turn on the TV last night to watch the Daily M's, and I mistakenly turned on a bit early and saw 2 numbskulls talking about whether the Panthers dynasty is now officially over.
I
was like, no.
Yeah.
Right. There's many things, and no one knows. There's no set definition for a dynasty.
Yeah.
It's not over because they didn't make a grand final. Right. It's over when they stop being the successful, dominant thing that they are. There's too many things in that side at the moment that are the same as what they were last year, the year before that, so on and so forth. Right. So until parts of the dynamics of the club change in a way where they start being a different team.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be a different coach or a different halfback or whatever.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it's not on pause. It's not on hold. It's not stopped. It's still ongoing.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well,
not over. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get really, maybe there's a fair chance that not making the grand final after the hardships they had at the start was enough to kick them in the bum and say, right, next year, don't start like that. Let's be better and let's get back on top again, because now they've got to earn that right all the way back there again. I think for the few years beforehand, in some aspects, I think some of the players at the Panthers just went, oh, this is actually easy. And now they've had to work for it and just fall short. Not through a lack of effort, but they've realised that, oh, yeah, you do actually have to work hard for this all year, not just for half the year. So I wouldn't be surprised if Penrith come around next year and are a new level of elite.
Yeah, well, they lose no one. No one, they lose no one.
They're going to be. I think they're going to be scary good next year.
Yeah, I think that they had guys that, Toto was carrying injuries all year. He could use it. They haven't had a normal preseason in 3 or 4 years. Even this year, they had to go to Las Vegas. They're playing away from home, which they'll do next year as well. But at least now they'll be used to it. And they'll have that light at the end of the tunnel when next year we're at home, And I wouldn't be shocked if the Panthers stadium might be ready in time for a finals game. But we'll see.
Well, they used 36 players this year too. So to put that in perspective, last year was 31. I'm just going through. 2023, they used 27. 2022, they used 32. 2021, they had 28 players. And in 2020, it was 27 players. That's the most players they've used in quite a while. So that shows you how disjointed they were for the year, player roster-wise.
And then you've got Talangi, who comes in for who's won everything before him player in Luai. He's not even in the team for the first couple of weeks, really.
Yeah.
Then he finally gets his feet, and it's his first final series, which I thought he did pretty well. And I think in the last game he showed a couple of young player moments, but you have to have those.
Yeah, he's going to be a lot better for it too.
Yeah, And look, he has all the signs. All the signs point in the positive direction for him. It's great.
Yes. I also think too that Dylan Edwards had a hot and cold season. Yeah. I don't think he had a season where he was at his consistent best. I think he was either off his game or really dialed in on it. And he was more hot than cold.
Yeah.
But it's the first time I've seen him be somewhat inconsistent in his form compared to previous years.
Yep.
And that might be due to injuries as well, because he was carrying a few too early on.
He was too, yeah. He was too. And so you go through all these different things, and I tend to think that they'll be really easily top 4 next year, and keeping in mind that Nathan Cleary's 27 at the moment. And then on top of all that, you've got a couple of players in this team that are absolute animals. And yeah, it'll hurt them, and they'll want to prove that they're back next year. And if you look at how teams line up for next year, I don't think the Storm lose anyone significant. I don't think the Broncos lose anyone too significant. The Raiders lose their veteran halfback who was always going to fail anyway. So they don't have a halfback for next season. So good luck. And
I wouldn't be surprised if they try and manufacture one out of either of the hookers that they've used.
Yeah.
In order to accommodate Brayley coming in there.
But they're losers anyway, so it doesn't matter. They'll fail. The Bulldogs, who fucking knows what the fuck their team's going to look like when it matters next year. They're, fantasy rugby league team. And so, yeah, I think I wouldn't be shocked if the Panthers were favourites or second favourites behind Melbourne.
Yeah. Should we have a look briefly at the grand final?
Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll read emails, because we got few emails which we've got to get through.
Sounds good. So, obviously, grand finals going between Melbourne and Brisbane. They met in the grand final in 2006. Head-to-head in the finals, they've played 9 times. Melbourne's won 6, Brisbane's won 3. And overall, they've played 59 games and Melbourne's won 43.
It's pretty dominant.
And Melbourne have won 39 of their last 47 games against the Broncos, which is since the 2004 final series.
There's 2 things that worries me. Number 1, the storming, doing storm stuff, storm. They've been here. They know what to do. They know the week. Craig Bellamy has been here so many times. He just knows what to do. The other thing is I worry that last week was the Broncos grand final, and I say that respectfully because that game was unbelievable. It's not very often you see a preliminary final of that magnitude that it had like state of origin ratings, and the crowd was going so crazy that Suncorp Stadium the next day had to come out and say the stadium is made to move with the crowd. Don't be too freaked out by what you felt. It's okay. Like that's how off the stadium was going. I guess the thing that goes in the other direction is that I think that if the Broncos carry that momentum, they do have the strike power to bust holes in the Storm, and the Storm will have to go to a new level. And I wonder if the Broncos' very best football and the Storm's best football is at the same level. I kind of feel like the Broncos can go to a crazy level that is tough for anyone to beat. That I don't know that the Storm can go there. And I don't know if I'm stupid for thinking that because it's the Storm. I just don't know that we've seen the Storm at that crazy, crazy high level all year. I think they've been within themselves all year. And I think the Broncos can go to a level that maybe the Storm can't. And I don't know. And the cool thing is we're going to find out on Sunday.
This is right. There's a few stats here. Both of them actually struggle a bit playing finals games in Sydney.
Yeah.
Melbourne have won 11 from 23 games in Sydney, and Brisbane have won 17 of 34.
Okay,
so
that's interesting.
Both around 50.
Yeah.
Brisbane's last finals win in Sydney was in 2008. They've lost all 5 finals matches in Sydney since then.
Wow.
And a bit of motivation for the Storm is that Trent Loiero will play his 100th game in the grand final.
Oh, nice.
I'm a bit like you. I think what I've been seeing from the Broncos of late has been exquisite. And they've been so strong in the second half, like just refusing to quit and refusing to die.
Yeah.
And Melbourne, you kind of look at them going, they look like they're coasting, but at the same time, they look like they've been coasting all year.
Yeah.
Is that coasting or is that just their form now?
Yes.
And I'm not too sure anymore.
Yes.
I think the ill discipline they showed in defence in the first half against the Sharks, and they carried it into the second half a little bit, is something they cannot do against the Broncos. They just can't.
No.
If they do even half of that and they give away 6 penalties through, while they've got the Broncos down inside their own 20, that's going to be dire for them. They can't do that again. Other than that, I think defensively they were pretty good against the Sharks, and they're going to need to be at that level of defense against the Broncos. Because the Sharks did throw plenty of shape at them. They did throw plenty of different running options at them. They didn't throw much at them in the sense of varied kicking game. The kicking game was pretty pedestrian. They weren't kicking to the corners because they didn't have the dominance on the wings. So they were kicking more shallower towards the second rowers, which is a bit different in itself. But when you start doing it regularly in a game, it gets easier to defend. They weren't grubbering into the line too much.
I think the other thing too was they didn't have game breakers out wide. Like Adam Fanua-Blake was great in the middle, and Payne Haas will do a similar thing, if not better, in the middle. but they didn't have a Stags. They didn't have a Walsh who can literally just cut you to ribbons out of nowhere. And I think that might be the difference.
And that's the thing is, I think the defense was like really, really good against the Sharks, and it needs to be at that level as a minimum against the Broncos. It can't go worse or backwards.
Yes.
On the flip side, man, Cameron Munster's just one of those players. I don't know that you can just contain him. And the one thing that happened in that first half, you watch players sometimes play. Wally Lewis is one like this all the time, and this is when he was playing in the 5 meter rule. Is he got the ball? It looked like everybody else around him was playing in slow motion, and he just had so much time and space to move and do whatever he wanted.
I think Lockie was the best I ever saw in that regard.
Absolutely, he was. Munster was that from the very first minute of the game last week. I was watching him. I was like, how does he have 30 meters in front of him? Oh, no, he doesn't. They're just standing there going, what is he going to do? What is he going to do? And as soon as you do that against someone like Munster or Harry Grant in the middle, you will lose. And the Broncos cannot allow Munster to have any freedom and any space, because if he has any of that, he will dominate, and it'll mean that Hughes will be kept on the back seat a little bit, which is fine for Hughes at the moment, given his wrist. And like the Broncos will be spending most of their game trying to contain one guy, and you can't do that. It doesn't matter who you are or who that guy is you're playing against. If you spend all your time chasing one guy around, you're just leaving holes everywhere else.
Yeah. That's why I think if the Storm win, I think Harry Grant will get the Clive Churchill medal because of that. Because I think that they'll be so focused on what Munster's doing and that's when it becomes super dangerous,
Yeah. And given I've lived in both of these one-team cities.
Yes.
And just don't like either of them. I don't know who I want to win this game.
Oh, really?
I'm thinking I want Melbourne to win just because of what Munster's gone through this year. I think that'd be nice for him.
Yep.
And I don't think drinking toilet water should end up with a premiership ring.
I'm the opposite. I think that it should. Like toilet water, look, I've been drinking it for ever since then because I'm super influenced by rugby league players and what they do. But yeah, actually, that reminds me. Oh, it tastes like victory. I don't know. I would normally not have a preference. And it's interesting that it's the two teams that have lost the two previous grand finals playing for the grand final. And I would normally not have a preference. The Storm have won a lot of grand finals. I just think that if this Broncos team won the grand final after what happened in 2023, it would be absolutely amazing and really special. And I've really enjoyed watching Reece Walsh go from and look, he could be erratic in this game. You never know. But going from being erratic and rocks and diamonds and stuff to all of a sudden he's had these games where he's just been like, oh my God, this guy's gone to a different level. I think it would be cool to have the Broncos being the champions and being that team. I just think it would be really cool. I think if the Storm win it, nothing against them, but it would be like, oh, the Storm won another premiership. Whereas I think if the Broncos won it, there'd be so much special stuff about it that it would just be really cool and really fun. So I kind of hope the Broncos win it, but I don't mind who wins it.
Yeah, actually, you've brought up a different point for me. You didn't raise it yourself, but I did think too that there is a reason why I do want Brisbane to win, and that is more because I want to see Michael Maguire have some success.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Post Tigers bullshit.
Hasn't it been funny seeing the media still trying to shit on him this year? And it's like he won a premiership with South, their first premiership in since Moses was a boy.
70s.
And then he goes to the West Tigers, tries to fix that mess while people were undermining him behind the scenes.
White-handing him, consistently white-handing him and fucking him around. Literally. It's good to see that he was able to just go, fuck it, and then go to another club.
Oh, and by the way...
And turn around and get them back into the grand final again.
By the way, in between then, gives Australia its worst loss ever with the as the New Zealand coach. Coaches New South Wales to a State of Origin series win, and where they looked fantastic under him. Then goes to the Broncos, gets them into the grand final, and I love seeing all these media types going, "Well, and it's like, shut up. Yeah. No one cares. You're idiots. You just don't like him for whatever reason. And it's probably because he doesn't like you fucking scumbags."
I have always, even when he was at South, I've always liked him as a coach. I've liked the way he does things.
Yep.
I still think, even to this day, he is still horribly underrated.
Yep.
So I think I'd be happy if the Broncos won for him more than anything else, because I hate when a good coach, doesn't matter how good, like, elite or just handy, if they go to a club and they go, I'm going to go to a club that's struggling and is all over the mess, and I'm going to try and fix them. They go there with good intentions to make them something good. And for whatever reason, that club 100% works against him to ensure that they stay shit, and it fucks up their career forever. And I'm glad that he was able to bounce back and say, no. That's on them. That's not on me. And he's gone and proved it, as you pointed out, at test level, at origin level, and now he's gone and done it at club level as well to prove that he is that damn good of a coach. And it now also proves that, just how absolutely dire the spud and the hat were at running a club and why they had to be sacked.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Madge, for going on and having all that success, because you've proved that they were completely fucking shithouse at everything they did, and it was good that they were gone.
They hired Tim Sheens and said, do a review, and he said, no, not Maguire. You know who needs to be the coach? Me. And they got rid of Maguire, and look at everything Maguire has done since.
And we know who else those fucking idiots bought.
Who?
Comes from England.
Oh, yeah, John Bateman. They're gone. They're gone now. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
They're all gone. But, yeah, it's good. It's great for Maguire. It is great for Maguire, and it's cool that he's getting to experience that. And he's doing it with Reynolds, who was his halfback when he won at Souths, which is cool. And yeah, let's see what happens. Hey, the Storm are probably deserve to be favourites, but there's every so often you see something in footy and you're like, oh, there's something here. There's something special happening. And I think maybe that's what we're seeing with the Broncos.
Let's see who is actually favourite. Have we got markets yet? Yeah, the Storm are favourites.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Not by much. Have we got lineups? We do have lineups. Who's in and out? Anyone? Doesn't say.
So Carrigan will be in for the Broncos because he's served his suspension.
Yep, Cobbo's back, and Gacheski and Madden are also back into the 21-man squad.
Mm-hmm.
For the Storm, Garlic, Grant Anderson, Jonah Pezzett, and Far Logo. Ooh, he's the extended bench. If the Storm want some absolute freak X factor on the bench, don't be surprised if they put him there last minute, because that kid could blow a game open. He can. He's just got something, man.
Yeah, he can for sure. The only thing I would say is that I could see where you would want to have a big bench of full forwards against the Broncos.
They've not picked one because they've got Tyron Wishart on the bench.
Yeah, that's the thing. But
I suppose they've got the Broncos have got Mam and Smoothie on the bench, so they've not exactly gone with a huge one either. They're going for a faster sort of bench, but that's just going to mean that Haas and Carrigan are going to be playing big minutes in the middle. So it'll be interesting to see how they work it. It's the bench is always very interesting for these two sides.
I have somebody on Twitter. I just refreshed my Twitter feed because somebody posted a fucking set of stats about teams win records in grand finals since 1998.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, some fucking idiot has left off 90 plus years of rugby league history, right?
Hang on, did they say it was a particular period in time? They use a word to describe that period of time?
I didn't even look. I was just so incensed by it immediately. I didn't even look. And so I said that, right? And now I have some fucking idiot on Twitter saying, do you include Brisbane Rugby League in NRL stats? Because it's the same, right? Then here's another one. In what way? Formula One was created in 1949, but the first F1 World Championship was in 1950. Actually, the game started in 1895. That's where it was, and it's like, now
I've had these arguments before. I want to make it clear, right? I'll let Freaky sit there and seethe for a little bit. Okay, for those people who want to say that the Brisbane Rugby League should be included as part of the New South Wales Rugby League, as far as, before the NRL, I understand where you're trying to come from, and the key word there is trying, right? And I also agree that they should be, the New South Wales Rugby League and the Brisbane Rugby League should be treated equally. However, the NRL was the natural evolution arc from the ARL that preceded it and the Super League. It was the combination of those two. The ARL that preceded, that was then, that was an extension of the New South Wales Rugby League that preceded it. Have a look at the teams in 1995 in the ARL, and 16 of those teams were in the New South Wales Rugby League the year before, and they were exactly the same teams with exactly the same license. That's how you know it follows that arc. No team from the Brisbane Rugby League followed through on that arc the whole way through, except for South Queensland. But they had a reserve grade team playing in the Brisbane Rugby League competition. Doesn't quite follow the same. A lot of that was just setting up the club for its movement into the ARL. The licenses are not the same. They don't follow the same path. The Brisbane Rugby League was always its own separate entity. Once the Broncos left and all that other stuff happened and the ARL happened and Super League happened, the Brisbane Rugby League did not die. It continued and still does, just like the New South Wales Rugby League still does.
We have a linear competition. It kicked off in 1908. Anytime there was a name change, it was literally a name change on the letterhead.
That's all it was.
They were in the same offices. It was the same clubs, the same players,
same officials at the governance level.
The same referees.
But the licenses were still the same for the clubs.
The same venues, the same commercial agreements.
So I get where they're trying to come from.
I don't.
It doesn't. No, I do. I do. They're trying to.
They're dumb, Andrew.
No, I'm just saying they're trying to make the argument that the Brisbane Rugby League should have been considered as an equal comp to New South Wales Rugby League. I get that, but it wasn't. The game started with the New South Wales Rugby League in 1908, and that has been the predominant premier competition the whole way through.
These are the same people.
I get them. I've had these arguments with these people.
They're fucking idiots, mate. They're
drinking the toilet water, but they're drinking the stuff that goes into the toilet before it gets in there.
Yeah, it's like it's just
emails.
Let's do emails. Listen, I hope you're listening to this. This person. I'm not going to say who they are. They won't be. Mate, you're a fuckwit. Okay, on to emails. Our good friend Andy Marzalek. Hang
on, I need to find the
Marzalek. Although, did he say the K was silent?
I can't remember. He did tell us to try and say it as many different ways as possible and as wrong as possible. So, Andy Marzalek.
Yes. You know what I like about his name, right? I think it's a really cool name, okay? Because his first name's Andy, right?
Wouldn't it be funny if all this time we were pronouncing his surname right, but his actual first name is not pronounced Andy?
It's Andy.
It's Andre.
Yeah.
He's Russian. That explains the spelling in the surname.
His last name is just, this is my last name, fuck you. I like that about it.
His last name is probably actually Smith. He just typed that in there just to fuck with us.
Imagine. It's his fucking Xbox username. It was just randomly generated. This would be so funny. Okay, so he's written us a really long email. So Andy sent us this. So here we are at the season's end. By my calculations, the 28th in the NRL era. Fuck you. How dare you? Who knows how many before that, but I only count maybe another 10 years from when it became the Broncos era. You'd need some sort of historian to work out anything more than that. Do either of you know someone? Apparently that Middleton bloke knows a bit. Oh my God, he's just trying to trigger us. How dare you? Oh, it's just starting to calm down from that fucking idiot on Twitter. Okay, enough winding you guys up. Here's some questions. Okay.
I was going to say, Middleton is vastly above the work I do. So that's not winding me up. If you had said somebody else, there is somebody else. But he doesn't know who that is.
No one does, Andrew. Okay. So here's his first question. Why do some teams react to losing key players better than others? Brisbane have had many key players out, but in the second half of the season, they've managed it well. Melbourne always seem to do this well, but the Roosters struggle without Walker. The Eels were horrible without Moses, and Newcastle knows, who knows, they were horrible even with Ponga when Ponga was available. St. George supporters would probably kill for an injury to Kyle. Oh, Jesus.
I was going to say on that, it comes a lot down to the structures that the coaching team puts in place. And so I think it's easy for some coaches, if they've got a out of this world halfback, to just structure everything around that halfback. And sometimes I think some lazy coaches just do that out of habit. And I think it's something that Trent Robertson has done an awful lot of at the Roosters for a long time. When he's got a pretty impressive ball running back five, but he puts so much emphasis and effort on Sam Walker and the work he does. Yet when, was it Sandon Smith and Henry Savala? Is it Henry Savala?
Yeah, I think that was them, yeah.
When they were both there in the halves, they were playing great football, but it was almost like he was trying to change something while they were there. But they were playing great anyway. And I think sometimes some coaches get a little bit caught up, especially if they've been there a while. And it's not a hugely bad thing, but I think they get caught up in systems that they think or know that have worked in the past with different players. And they think, well, I'll just keep doing that because that was a sign that I did the right thing. But he might have actually just been utilising those past players' strengths, but ignoring the current strengths of his current squad, who might be in different positions, if you know what I mean. And so he keeps trying to do what he thought worked because he was intelligent in the past and doing it now, but not seeing the same results. You know, it's like you're playing two different games in the end. I think the smart coaches can recognize that, whereas I think some of the, the next tier down, varying on how well they adapt to that and how well they understand that, depends on how much success they have. Adam O'Brien, I don't know where to start with him because the attacking structures we've seen from him over the last several years have been like really, really pedestrian. Last year when the Knights were scoring a lot of points, it was because the pedestrian part that he had going well, which was, let's just make the meters through the middle and the edge of the ruck first, that was leading to a lot of their points. And you just had someone like Ponga running off the back of that whenever an offload come out. And this year, his forwards just weren't making the meters, and he had no creativity really coming out of the halves, and Ponga was hardly around. And so they were just treading water in it. They were basically just trying to get through their sets every week, which was just, if that's what your goal is in attack, you're not going to win games of football. It's just not going to happen. And that's what happened this year. Hasler's always been one who plays with forwards first. He always likes to try and be different to everybody else. And for a while at the Bulldogs when he was there, it worked brilliantly. But people caught on pretty fast. And so his idea of having your forward stretched out in a line and attack in the middle and your halves play behind them or a bit wider, it's something that was probably more common in Bob Fulton era, early 90s. I think he tried to replicate that a bit. It sometimes works depending on the defensive strength and patience, I guess, of the opposition. But more often than not, it doesn't have a great deal of variation to it, so it gets easier and easier to defend against. But yeah, I put it more down to the coaching ability and their ability to change and adapt their game plan. And I think people like Cleary, Maguire, Bennett, definitely Bellamy, they don't have game plans which focus on specific players, but on specific roles for players. And that's why they can bring another player in and not really have much change in the way the team functions. They're still doing the same sort of thing and they still get the same sort of results. And that,
yeah, I also think it comes down to making sure that your whole club has a certain sort of playing style, and
definitely.
We saw that with the Panthers, where there was a trial game they played against, I believe it was Parramatta, and Parramatta was almost at full strength, and it was the Panthers reserve grade team. The Panthers reserve grade team just looked like their first grade team, and we saw that a little bit again a few weeks ago when they played the Bulldogs and they rested 16 players, and you watch the Panthers reserve grade team out there, and it just was doing Panthers first grade team stuff, not with the same talent levels, but it just looked like the same structures in place and stuff. And so when you take a player that knows the structure in reserve grade and you give them the same role in first grade and the structure's the same and they've just got to do that job again, that goes a long way to helping that. And I think sometimes with clubs that aren't as well run, their structures below first grade are a little bit patched together because they have to be, because they're doing their best, whereas the stronger clubs tend to have stronger reserve grade teams, and therefore it's easier for them to make that step into the first grade squad.
Yep.
Okay, second one. Second question. What was the key cause of New South Wales losing Origin this year?
Laurie Daly.
Personally, I thought they were bound to lose it. The moment Brisbane signed Madge, Kev was not a great coach, and I think he was unlucky with injuries last year, but then Brisbane have probably as many key injuries this year and coped much better. I think it was not only that we've got the not good coaches coaching either Origin side, but I think that I think that it blows my mind for New South Wales that we have this fucking team that won 4 straight grand finals, was in 5 grand finals all up, and the entire New South Wales team wasn't just built around as many of those guys in that structure as possible. I think we will look back on that time in a few years from now and say, what the fuck, New South Wales? Because to me, I just pick as many Panthers players as I can. I just put their structures in place when possible, and I put around them the extra key players that maybe you can select, and we didn't do that, and I think that was a giant error.
Well, I think why keep going to players who have played a ton of games in the past when form suggests you should pick other people? Like, why was Terrell May not picked, for fuck's sake? The guy was carving up every fucking game. He went, nah, he's not Origin quality. He went, you went on to lose the Origin series, so what's Origin quality? A loser? Like, I don't get that argument. It's stupid. And then we picked, the hooker and the fullback. I think we got some of those a little bit wrong, based on form at the time. Should have picked other people in those roles. Picking Newcastle players when they just don't know how to attack, or like, why do that? I don't get that. Their team had been dire all year. We're still picking some of their players. Why pick players in teams that are underperforming, like horribly underperforming, or the players themselves are horribly out of form, or in some cases, both of those? And that's what they did, and that's what Laurie Daly always fucking does. And we need to. I hate it when a player who I loved watching because they were fucking insanely brilliant as a player goes and does coaching and they become insufferable to watch as a coach. And Ricky Stewart's done it to me. Laurie Daly's doing it to me. Oh, man, guys, just fuck off. Fuck off. I don't care if you guys go and host a rugby, host a YouTube channel where all you do is show us highlights of your own career and things you did. if people say that that's like you being all talking about yourself, I would not give a fuck. I would love that, and I'd love you to the moon and back because my God, I could watch that shit all day. I can't watch you guys coach anymore.
Mm.
You're killing me. I want to love you guys because I love watching you play footy. You're making it hard. You're making it hard for me.
It's like coaches are very specific people, and we've talked about this.
That's why I had a lot of hesitations about Benji Marshall being a coach.
Yeah, same here. And look, it turned out that he's a fucking good coach.
He's going all right at the moment. He's going all right. The minute he starts looking like he's shit, I want him to walk away fucking fast. And I want him to walk away and go, guys, you know what? This is not for me. I'm sorry to apologise. Here's a 2-hour compilation of my greatest achievements as a football player. And I go, thank you, Benji. That's all I need. That's all I need. You're forgiven. But no. They do this thing, and it's soul crushing to an extent.
I mean, just think about it. This year, in 2025, it was the first year where Isaiah was picked for New South Wales, where it was like, oh yeah, he is the best lock that we've got, and it's like, what the fuck took so fucking long? And even like there's fucking people that are like, I don't know if we should have Cleary at halfback. I think we should have Moses, and it's like, you brain dead morons. You fucking idiots. Like, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Why are people making me angry about rugby league? I was fucking happy 10 minutes ago, Andrew.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Okay. Third question by Andy. I honestly believe the coaching requirements at club and rep level are very different for the head coach. At club level, you are with them for 11 months versus a few weeks at State of Origin or international level. At club level, you have salary caps and development concerns. At rep level, you don't have the salary cap concerns or development to some extent, and all your players are great. This is one of the reasons why I don't believe the Panthers system didn't work at. This is one of the reasons why I believe the Panthers system didn't work at Origin level. I don't think we saw it at Origin level. Both teams are largely have no weak links. Rep coaches can easily drop players knowing they've got another player of equivalent quality. Club coaches don't have that, and then will have to deal with the ramifications longer. So more egos to keep in control in clubland. Queensland has long had success with coaches not from clubland as head coach, but they've always put smart support staff with them and had the head coach willing to listen. Laurie Daly mightn't have flopped if they had found good support staff. The problem we have in New South Wales with support staff is that it's like the same 5 cunts, and it has been for the last 20 years. It's like, let's get Andrew Johns in to deal with the halves. Let's get fucking Brad Fittler in so he can tell the players to not wear fucking shoes on the field. And like, it's the same cunts. Same fucking cunts.
Do you think Brad Fittler as a coach is just an extension of your old mate from the Panthers?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Have we learnt nothing, people?
I know. Look, the Panthers system was never in place at Origin. It just never was.
There was no club systems in place at Origin. And that's part of the problem.
There was a year there where we had Cleary and Luai, and it was under Brad Fittler. We had them in the halves, and they were playing a fucking system from fucking like 20 years ago. They didn't see each other. They were playing one side of the field each, and it was like, what? They never linked up. They never saw one another. Making me angry.
They do. It's annoying.
Yeah. All right, so the next question. Should the NRL schedule a 4 p.m. Sunday home game for the Melbourne Storm on the day of the F1 Grand Prix next year? After roundly being blasted for avoiding the AFL by not playing a game Saturday, would PVL be that stupid and say, I'm not afraid of some silly car race if what even is that? When Oscar is being feted all around the country as F1 world champion and Zach and Lando just have to sit in a corner with forced smiles.
I think it'd be great
Yeah.
to have Oscar coming to the Melbourne Storm game, and I think the Melbourne will probably schedule it so that they play on Thursday. Not because they want to avoid having the clash, but I think they'll probably want to do it so that they can get Piastri to come along as the champion, and he can come out and, I don't know, maybe do a few donuts on the field before the game starts. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and have Zach Brown and Lando just, up in the coach's box in the corner, crying as they jerk each other off. I think that'd be great for TV.
With their shit-eating grins.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 5.
I was actually going to say also, I don't think we need to worry about having some sort of clash with the F1 where, we're worried about people not coming to the NRL because there's some tickets on there for a one-day pass at the F1 which costs $6,000. So you know what? I think people are okay with forking out $25-$30 for a ticket to the footy.
Probably. So, number 5. Learning my name, whilst I'm not bothered by how you pronounce it, mainly as I'm acutely aware that I don't even pronounce it the correct way based on its Polish origins. So maybe I should put a recording together for you at the start of each season on what I've decided is the correct pronunciation this year, and then reserve the right to change it year to year. I'll have my social media people look into it. However,
that's a great idea.
Yeah, however, I do promise not to go back to rugby. Not that I was ever there to leave. So you won't ever have to refer to me as unnamed.
Unnamed. I think if we get his surname right, and it can't just be get it right, but it has to be somewhat tricky to say. Yeah. And we can get every single rugby league commentator out there on Fox Sports to say it over and over and over again for no reason. Then we don't need to worry about saying it anymore.
That would be good. Yeah.
And we can actually use his name instead of rugby union players' names in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, number 6. How much will Lando cry when he is first told to get out of the way for Oscar? Because
he
Oscar
won't
needs the points.
Stop. He won't stop. The sooking will go on forever.
And
he will fill bottles upon bottles of water with his salty tears, and you'll sell it on the black market for thousands of dollars.
And all of those pommy Formula One people will be like, "This is a travesty. We've never seen this before."
Just like they keep whining about Abu Dhabi 2021, where they restarted the race and they just got the cars between Verstappen and Hamilton out of the way, and Verstappen just beat Hamilton and got his first title.
So, okay, as much as I found Mark Webber to be a bit of a whinge, he is a good manager for Oscar as this season plays out in being able to call out any preferential treatment Lando gets. That said, Webber was never in Vettel's class when they were together at Red Bull, hence why Oscar already has as many F1 wins. That's true.
Agreed.
Number 7, the Pacific Championships. Will you be giving us a good preview of the teams once they're all announced? Yes, we will.
Oh, yeah.
I've already got my tickets for the final day. If the atmosphere comes close to the final day last year, it will be awesome an awesome day of footy at Commonwealth Bank Stadium. Yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah, we're going to be going right through all of it.
Yeah, we do genuinely, I mean this seriously, we do generally love all international rugby league.
Yeah.
Even if it's England playing against Wales, we want to see those two beat each other and laugh at how crap they are.
Yes.
But we still will watch international rugby league.
Yeah, we've watched some games where we knew we were sick for watching them. Like we've been like, it's like us and about 2 or 3 other people in the whole world watching this game, and we're like, like it's great.
Remember, we watched the one international that was played in 2020. It was between Germany and Netherlands.
Yep.
And it looked like it was recorded on someone's mobile phone and live streamed that way.
Yep.
Fucking loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
I still remember, and this is the thing, I still remember that. I remember the game we watched where Spain played against someone, and the first half went for about an hour.
Was it Ireland?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
I remember watching that.
The longest game ever.
I can't remember what happened in the last Australia versus New Zealand game, But I will always remember Spain's first half against Ireland because it went for 60 minutes. I'll always remember the game between Germany and Netherlands that was played during COVID.
The International Rugby League didn't even give awards that year, and we watched the game and gave awards based on that one game of the COVID year. So, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, number 8. With Benji's Tigers being one of the big improvers from 2024 to 2025, where do you think they can improve further for next season, and can they make the top 8? And if you think they can make the top 8, whose place will they be taking?
I'm not convinced they'll get to the top 8. I do think they'll go higher. I think they'll be hanging around 9th and 10th all year, and they'll be in contention for the top 8 up until the last 2 or 3 rounds. Whether the club sees that as improvement or not is up to them. I think they should see it as that. I think every time this club has gone after immediate success, it has immediately backfired in the long term for a long, long time. And I think slow success is what they've got to go for, especially given they've got such a young team. And it's young everywhere. They need to work on consistency, which will happen just with experience across the field. They've got to get better with their ball running options and plays. They've got great ball runners in the side, but sometimes they use them at the wrong time. They run the wrong line, things like that. That all comes with experience. We saw at the tail end of the year, their defence started getting much better. They were working as a unit better. So they need to keep working away on that as well. Their defence improved immensely this year. So if they keep improving in those areas, they don't have huge amounts to work on. A lot more now works on consistency more than structure, which is a big thing. They've got the structures right. If they did make the 8, probably I don't know. I think the Roosters might drop out next year.
Yeah, I think the Roosters will drop out.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if we'll wait and see what the draw is. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders drop down a fair bit, given they had a very favourable draw this year.
Yeah, they'll drop down.
I expect them to drop a fair bit.
I'm trying to think. I mean, they're really the two. But yeah, I think the Roosters won't be there next year.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. At this stage,
they lucked out. They lucked out so much getting in this year.
Well, the other thing too is the Bulldogs have got a very good side, but if they can't figure out how their halves are going to function, they're going to run close to struggling to make the 8 themselves, because their form when Galvin turned up is just not the same as what they had at the start of the year. And they're obviously stuck with him now. And
keep in mind, I firmly believe this is the year Gould will be like, Cameron Ciraldo looks tired. It's going to happen. People like Bulldogs fans get angry at me when I say shit like that, but it's going to happen. We've seen this before. And finally, this is Andy's email still. When do we find out that the Panthers or Penrith have been on the gallon juice? I don't know what that means.
We need Glenn to send us an email to decipher what that means. I don't know what that's going to mean.
Gallon juice. What would even be in that? We know. And over the Storm and Memorial salary cap for the last 5 years. Cheers, guys. Have a good one. Have a good grand final. Regards, Andy.
I don't think they were over the cap or on anything. I think what we saw on the field was they weren't doing anything that was exceptionally greater physically than what other teams were doing. I think they just had very good systems and structures in place the whole time. And yeah, I mean, a lot of their elite players that came along were juniors, club juniors. And what we saw was what we've been saying, what we've had Ben Darwin coming on talking about is how important cohesion is. And the more you have it for how long you have it, makes up for a lot of losses in other areas. And the Panthers, this Panthers mob for the last 5-6 years have shown that in spades. We've physically seen it with our own eyes, what it means to have come through playing juniors football with the same players, and you all come through and you all come into first grade at the same time and same sorts of field and same positions, that sort of thing. That cohesion is very rarely ever experienced to the amount that the Penrith had.
Yeah.
They had so many players that came through the juniors at the same time and all stuck together and came into first grade at the same time and stayed together for years. That's huge. Like you can't manufacture that with any juice.
Yeah. Yeah, look, if something like that come out now, just say both those things happened, I would just have to lean into it, hey? That's all you could do. You just have to say, yeah, you're right, and you still couldn't beat us. You still we're kicking your ass doing it, you know.
So if that happened, would you, if you leant into it, right?
Yeah.
Would you then have a soft spot for Callan?
Fuck no.
No. You're going, you know what? I get where he was coming from now. I sympathise with that guy.
You know what? He was all right. I
think he's just misunderstood.
I can't believe they pay money to talk. It's fucking amazing to me, hey?
I know.
Okay, so next email is from Glenn. Subject is grand final. It's funny, we're moving on to a Glenn email. Get the lawyers.
Brace yourself. Oh, thanks, Andy.
Message body. G'day, Fergo and the Freak. So proud of the Panthers for the memories they have given me over the last 5 years. Unfortunately, the run has come to an end. But as they say, all good things must come to an end. Looking forward to seeing what they can do next year with some proper rest. Going to be going for Melbourne in the NRL Grand Final. I know this may not go down well with some, but I can't feel that. But I can't feel that the optics of Ezra Mam celebrating at the end of the game with how this year started. But that's my belief. Cheers, Glenn. And he says, P.S. I know what gallon juice is. It is 10 milligrams per day. Oh, I can't say that.
When did we start becoming a cooking show?
I know, right? Like, man, that's a funny sounding smoothie. So, yeah, like, I get that. I get that. I get that people don't want Ezra Mam to win a grand final. I totally get that.
It does raise more of an issue about, the NRL choosing to be on the moral high ground depending on someone's star power.
Yeah.
And that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
On all levels. But, at the same time, I don't know. As I said, I'd be more happy for Maguire. I think he deserves it more. I think the issue with Ezra Mam is the same you get with a lot of players who misbehave. Is they just become players you can't respect anymore. Mm-hmm. I can't see how you would want to see bad things happen to them. The worst I'd want to see out to him is that because of what he did, he doesn't get picked for representative honours. That way the game doesn't suffer, really. His team doesn't suffer, his teammates doesn't suffer. He can still play footy, but maybe that's some sort of thing that could happen. And that would also help protect, I guess, rugby league on the greater stage as well, rep honours and stuff, but still be able to, have their cake and eat it too, in some extent, by still allowing him to play. I don't know. It's a grey area with no real actual proper answer.
Yeah, there's no answer to it. That's the thing, So,
or we could just have eye for an eye. Put him out in the car park and someone can drive a car at him.
Jeez, that's a rough.
And then we can just go, okay, now we can all just go back to square one. He's a good guy all of a sudden. Yeah, his hip's broken, but you know what? Everything's square. What do you reckon on that one?
That's a rough one, Andrew. I don't know if that's breaking some rules or something. I don't know.
It might break some rules, but I mean, at least we're all squared up.
So the next email. It's from James. It's our James.
You seem urgent to get to the next email.
Yes, I don't know. So it's our James. His subject is freaky on eBay, and the message body is freaky. Are you responsible for this eBay account? You are one sick puppy, and he sent me an eBay link. All right, now I'm going to describe it. So if you go on eBay and there's a listing for shiny rare Fui Moi Moi card, it's on for $14,500. Right. Item description from the seller. Barely used, it says Bentley, but it means barely. Barely used NRL trading card of the great Fui Moi Moi. All stains have been professionally cleaned. Now, that probably sounds weird, but when you look at the picture that is posted, it's a picture of Fui Moi Moi card. There's some Four Seasons massage oil next to it and heaps of tissues. It's been viewed 5 times in the last 24 hours.
Oh.
You can get an extra 6% off with the seller's price with a code. Postage is $8.23. You should buy this, Andrew. Hey? And yeah, so I'll put the link in the description from the episode, but that was not me.
That was not you?
Yeah, that was not me.
Was it Diddy?
Was it Diddy?
The oil and stuff.
Possible Diddy. That is Diddy MO. But yeah, how about that?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Parramatta fan, obviously.
Yeah, I'm guessing so, hey.
Who else did he play for? Did he play for Salford?
He went over to England. Who did he? I feel like he played for a weird lower grade team like Featherstone or someone.
Oh, that's what I thought Salford was.
Have a look. Go and have a look. I feel like I
played for Lee, Toronto, Workington, and Rochdale.
Oh, there you go.
Jeez, I thought, wouldn't it be fun if he did actually play for Salford and there was someone from the Salford club putting it out there going, we've got to pay some bills, guys.
Honestly, when he made that move to England, I was like, he needs a new manager. And when you look at who he ended up playing for, he needed a new manager.
Yeah.
So no, that is not me. $14,500. That seems pretty steep. I wouldn't pay anything over 12.
It is pushing it a little bit, isn't it?
It is. That's what she said. Now, we have a situation that I need to talk about. We have a situation.
Okay.
So the NRL tipping competition, you and me thought it was over a couple of weeks ago. Turns out it wasn't.
Oh.
Turns out you tipped for the finals too.
Oh, right. That's not gone well for me then.
It's fucking awkward, Andrew. But here's the thing, right? A few weeks ago when we said it was over and Nadine had won it, she had a few points lead and stuff, and congratulations. Well, she's had a really rough final series, man. It's been a really rough final series.
Ooh.
Now, she's tied.
Okay. This explains why she's not talking about it anymore.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? So, Sean, whose username on here is Canine13, is now in first place with 143 total points. That is equal with Nadine, who is undisputed champions at 143. And then Wazik, who is Austin, is 1 point behind them on 142. Now, the thing is, the total margin is the difference between the two. So, Canine on number 1, Canine 13 in first place, is on 490 total margin.
Mm-hmm.
Nadine is 5 points in total margin behind him. Yeah, so there is the possibility that whoever nails the score and the winner in this game wins the overall Fergo and the Freak tipping comp.
Can we see? Wouldn't it be good if you could see what someone has tipped and what margin they've tipped every week? Can you do that on this?
I thought that you could view tips. So last week, that's me.
Well, you can see, but you can't see what margin they've picked.
No, you can't see margin. No. So I'm trying to see because
Canine has picked. It says here Melbourne game 1, Brisbane game 2. It only shows you what tips they've done previously.
Last week, yeah. So it's just going to be a magical mystery tour from this point in.
Wow.
But we have a situation, and Nadine has been aware of the situation for a few weeks. I have been talking to Nadine about the situation for a few weeks. It all comes down to this. It all comes down to this. And whoever nails the margin is probably going to win it, I would suggest. So that's it.
Let's have a look at what's more important. That is how you and I went.
Okay. I was
What's your total points at?
Okay, I was at 37. So hang on. I really fell off the last few weeks of the NRL season. So I had 134 total points. So
did you tip during the finals or not?
Yeah, I've been tipping during the finals.
Okay.
So
I obviously didn't.
Behind them.
I obviously didn't. My score's at 124, so I'm on 165.
That's rough.
My total margin is 897.
Jesus, mine was 511. So it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't among the elites here.
I got second for the highest total margin. Super Chris, who got 131 tips right. His total margin was 1,591. And I'm second with 897.
Holy fuck. What was he doing?
I like Chris.
Yeah.
You're my favourite tipper now. And it's now my goal to outdo you for the total margin next year. And I am going to fucking smash you.
Wow. Them's fighting words.
Them's fighting words.
So, yeah. So we've got a situation there for the grand final, which is fucking cool, I reckon.
Or, actually, you know, I'm going to set up a tipping account for my kids as well on here.
Right.
We'll get them to do their tips next year as
well.
Next
year. Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And given my boy's only done 2 tips so far, he's got both of them right.
Got them right, yeah.
He's historically 2 from 2.
Well, the only one I've got wrong in the finals was the Panthers. I thought the Panthers would beat the Broncos, and that didn't happen. Did we tip the grand final winners?
My boy said, did he say Melbourne or Brisbane win the grand final? I think he said Brisbane beat Melbourne in the grand final.
Okay. I'm tipping the Broncos.
I'm gonna tip Melbourne. What's the margin? How far can the margin go on here? Can I go to 90? No, I actually need it to be about 900. I can't. 99. Okay, well, I can't beat you, Chris. I'm going to give it a crack, though.
Yeah.
Melbourne to win by 99. It's funny that underneath that it says, what are you really gambling with? I mean, the way I tip, nothing. It's a very smart thing for me to do.
I would say I was gambling with my pride, but yeah, I ain't got any of that anymore.
I got rid of that years ago.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I'm going for the Broncos in the grand final. I think that they'll win by 8. I think that it'll be a close game. They'll get a bit of a break, and then they'll get that extra little bit, whether it be a penalty or whatever, you know. Or they'll be like up by, 2, and then they'll score a converted try, but it'll be right near the end.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very, very close.
Yeah.
Now, the other last thing just on the grand final is the pre-match entertainments had to be changed.
Oh, have they officially changed it?
Well, I believe they had. Didn't they say that I don't know who the performer was, but he's fallen ill or something like that?
I heard he'd fallen ill, but that he would be better in time for it.
Okay. Because he cancelled other events and stuff.
Yeah, he cancelled mid-event.
Yeah.
So...
would have been interesting to see what the NRL would have done then.
Well, we all know what they would have done. Jimmy Barnes would have been doing it.
Barnes will be back.
Yeah.
I swear he's just in the halls at NRL HQ, just waiting for someone to say, Barnesy!
They just walk over to him, kick his feet and say, Barnesy, wake up!
Yeah, we need you. Start singing. Work class me. So, off we go.
Oh, shit.
That would happen.
Yeah. So...
now, there was a bit of drama before we wrap this bird up.
All right.
A bit of drama over in the English Super League.
Oh, my God. I almost forgot about it.
How can we?
Take us through it.
There was a statement made by the Wigan Warriors.
Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, they're coming up on their preliminary final this weekend.
Mm-hmm. At 10:37 p.m. Oh, we're being... Just so you know, we're not petty.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, the 3rd of September, our club was informed in writing by Derek Beaumont of Lee Leopards that they do not intend to fulfil this Friday's scheduled semi-final fixture. We can confirm that Lee Leopards were offered the choice of 4,600 unreserved seats or 5,400 reserved seats in the North Stand. This allocation was determined by the Independent Safety Advisory Group and our ground safety officer following consultation with the police. The Super League also sought separate safety advice which fully endorsed this approach. It is important to note that the allocation offered was well above the 10% minimum required for away supporters. Indeed, it was almost double that threshold. While we regret that Lee Leopards found this arrangement unacceptable, our club is legally and professionally bound to comply with the directions of our ground safety officer and the conditions of our ground safety certificate. The safety and welfare of all supporters must come first. This is not open to negotiation and underpins every decision we make. We continue to prepare for Friday's semi-final and will release further information as the situation develops.
I just hate everyone involved in it. They're all beneath contempt.
Oh my God!
Like, I mean, that guy that runs the league is just crazy. And then, like, the fact that finals venues aren't controlled by the Rugby Football League, and then it's like only 10% you've got to hand to away. It's just typical English rugby league, and they enjoy it. This is what they love. This is what they want. This is what they should be left to. It just shows how silly it is over there and not real and not taken seriously, and it should be treated as such by everybody else.
It's worth noting, and I don't know if this is a joke or not. I'm going to read it anyway because it's funny. The Lee East Miners have got a statement. At 10:37 p.m. on Tuesday, 3rd September, we received a message from our opponents on Saturday, Wigan St Patrick's, that they do not intend to fulfil the fixture due to us not having enough pies on sale at our club. And if there's been others, apparently, so everyone is mocking the living hell out of Derek.
Yeah, it's so silly. Like, you know what? The NRL should buy it. Like, why would you buy it? Why would you want to buy any of this shit?
I think what we need to do for the one thing we can do for the benefit of English Rugby League, is get Derek Beaumont to be the new owner of Salford.
That would,
and then we can just eliminate both together and move on with our lives.
That'd be good fun. Just
apparently,
like,
also, sorry,
go on.
I was going to say, apparently Salford have also offered a contract to a player for next year.
What?
Is that not optimism at its finest?
Wow, what are they, like, are they offering to mow their lawns or something? Like, what the fuck?
That's crazy. Who it was. I saw that somewhere. Where is it? Here we go. Is it this one? Salford legend confronts owners over crisis. Possible 2026 signing revealed.
Oh, I think that was Adrian Morley. I saw that a couple of weeks ago. He yelled at them or something, and I was like, man, Adrian Morley, it's brains trust.
Curtis Brown interacted with supporters from his personal box while the game was going on. That was when all that drama was happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what happened with that drama. I'll have to chase that down. But it says here they're set to sign Workington Town winger Levi Atiga for 2026.
Good for him.
From League One.
Good for him.
Someone should probably let Levi know.
Yes.
If possible, just on your contract, just ask for cash in hand up front for the whole season, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But there's, I guess, the other funny little bit of news that, I can't believe someone would just be a shill for it, but there's been some talk about this rugby union competition that they're starting up, and they're going to target NRL players, and it's fucking hilarious because, like, if I was going to start a rugby union competition, the first thing I would want is some rugby union players for it. And there's a couple of people in the media who they're the only ones that are really reporting on it around the whole world. It's really fucking weird. But they keep pushing out this shit and trying to make news out of it, and it's like, don't worry about it. If you're seeing all the headlines, don't worry about it, because the NRL salary cap is going to go up by a ridiculous amount. Like, it literally could double, and players like Nathan Cleary and that, they're going to be on like nearly, if not more than $3 million a year when the salary cap goes up, and the NRL has never been more financially strong ever, and the people that need to really worry about this shit are the rugby union competitions that are not financially strong. So they're the ones that have to worry. And so all these league journalists that keep on bringing it up, just don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry.
So that does tie into one last little thing, and that is Channel 9 apparently want to get the full rights for the NRL.
Well, they better fucking pony up. I don't imagine they've got the money for it, Andrew.
I can't see how they do.
No.
Because they won't have to just pay up the amount they're currently covering. They've got to cover what Fox will be covering as well.
Mm-hmm.
And every other, broadcaster.
Mm-hmm.
Televised broadcast there is. Plus, obviously, the rights are going to up given that there's expansion going on, so that's going to jack up the rights further. And the NRL is going to say, CPI as well, inflation, we're going to chuck that on as well. And so my concern is that and the only way this can work is if the Channel 9 says, okay, we'll do all of that, but then they create their own subscription TV service, which will then host rugby league games on it, and what other fucking junk TV they've got for free, like reruns of Hey It's Saturday, whatever.
You are literally describing Stan.
That's right. And I think that's what they'll do, is some shit like that, which would be funny. As I said to you in a message during the week, it'd be funny because that's exactly what Kerry Packer was trying to do back in 1994-95.
Yeah. The other part of this is Fox Sports cannot afford to lose the NRL.
God, no.
DAZN just bought Fox Sports for billions of dollars. And if half of their product is wiped out and say the other half is the AFL, but the NRL rates a lot higher on it. If they lose the NRL, that basically, I don't know how that's sustainable at all. And you basically write off half of your investment that you just bought. You cannot afford to lose it. And so they have to get it. They have to. And, so I just don't see how it's going to work out. PVL said during the week that if Fox Sports and Channel 9 decide to partner up, he'll look at taking the rights elsewhere. So because he doesn't want them to try and undermine the sport in any way. So
he's going to get rid of that first and last bidding rights thing.
Yeah, they did. They already did.
They did.
They got rid of them when I believe it was part of the deal for when the Independent Commission come in.
Ah, right.
They got rid of the first and last rights thing, and apparently the heads of News Limited or Telstra and News Limited, who basically owned all of Fox Sports, they were filthy that happened.
It allowed them to keep control of it and, give a final offer of whatever they wanted to do and never pay overs, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but the NRL, you don't have to worry about the NRL's. The next NRL TV deal is going to be gargantuan, and rightfully so, because it is basically the most valuable television asset in Australia, like above everything else.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised if Channel 10 get involved, given that I think they're owned by Paramount now. They've got a ton of money behind them now.
Yep.
So they could come along and they could broadcast some on free-to-air and some on their subscription service, which is no different to what we currently have. But they'd actually probably have more free-to-air slots available. So it'd be interesting to see what happmes.
And expect it to be a bit of a longer deal list. I wouldn't be shocked if it was, say, 7 years, 8 years, something like that.
I also wouldn't be surprised if they split up more of it. So internationals and Origin become separate entities.
Yeah.
That get negotiated separately.
Yeah.
Not all is one big group thing.
Yeah. The NRL is going to get an absolutely fucking enormous amount of money in this next TV deal. And I think a lot of it will flow into the plays, because a lot of the off-field stuff got sorted out in the last couple of TV deals. So we've got plenty of money for that. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Players Association maybe negotiated for a little bit of extra money to go into the cap beyond the percentage. And the NRL has come and played ball with the players, which has been good. So, yeah, the next TV deal is going to be outrageous. And the funny thing is that we're going to see players that are getting $2 million deals and stuff, and the journalists are going to hate their guts.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be like, did they really deserve it? It's like, yes, they are literally earning the money. They do deserve.
And then with all the extra money, the NRL is going to make the bold decision to go over to England, and they will buy Salford and nobody else.
Yeah.
And they'll fill it with NRL players and just dominate the comp.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, you'll love that.
Oh, man. If only somebody could buy salfordreddevils.co.uk off me.
Now, just quickly before we wrap it up, the Dally M Awards were on last night.
Oh, yeah.
Quickly go through the awards.
Yeah. I didn't care. I didn't even watch it. I just didn't care.
So Tedesco won the big award, the Dally M medal, by a fucking landslide. Team of the year, fullback, Tedesco. Wingers of the year was Xavier Coates and Andy Marjolais from the Sydney Roosters. Centre of the years were Tony Staggs and Stephen Crichton. 5/8 of the year, Ethan Strange. Halfback, Cleary. Props of the year, Payne Haas and Adam Fanua-Blake. Hooker of the year was Blake Brayley. Second rows of the year, Ali Katoa and Hudson Young. Lock of the year, Aaron Clark. The Peter Frelingos headline moment was between Paul Kent and James Hooper.
Nice. I think
it should have been.
I think I gave it to Hooper. I just think that it was just a special moment. There was a bit of a lull in the news cycle, and then he created all of that news and lots of claims, lots of insurance claims and stuff like that. So I felt like that was the headline moment of the season.
That's right. They actually decided to give it to Canberra's miracle win in Mudgee over the Panthers.
It was a big achievement for Canberra. They achieved so much this year, didn't they?
Yeah.
Achieve.
The same they always do.
Yeah.
The Provan Summons medal went to Zach Lomax. Top point scorer was Jermaine Asako. Ken Irvine medal for top try scorer went to Andy Marjolais. Daly M tackle of the year was Ethan Strange. Try of the year went to Andy Marjolais as well. He was busy. Daly M captain of the year was Tedesco. Rookie of the year was Robert Toyer. And coach of the year was Ricky Stewart.
Well, he achieved so much this year, Andrew.
Anyways.
There was so much achievement.
Let's
just put it this way, right? They lose 2 straight finals games and he has the sooks and doesn't want to talk about it. Penrith's run of fucking 5 straight grand final appearances, 4 straight grand final wins ends, and Ivan Cleary and Nathan Cleary were quite affable in the press conference afterwards and talked very openly about any questions that wanted to be asked of them. I thought that said a lot about character.
Yeah. Yeah, character.
He's a fucking sook.
Character. That's the one, character. For the women's, the Dalian medal went to Tamika Upton. Second time she's won that. She also got fullback of the year. Peyton Takamoana got the winger of the year along with Sheridan Gallagher. Centres were Isabel Kelly and Julia Robinson. 5/8 of the year was Gail Broughton. Halfback, Jessie Southwell. Props were Ellie Johnson, Jessica Elliston. Hooker, Emma Manzelman. Second rows of the year, Romy Teitzel, Yasmin Clydesdale, and lock of the year was Olivia Koenig.
If the NRLW wants to go anywhere in the future, they need an actual working salary cap.
Yes, they do. And we didn't get into this during the year, but there's now got a situation where the Roosters and Brisbane are now just buying whoever they want. And they're basically doing a Wiggins and Helens to the Super League.
Yeah.
I think, and that's a good thing. We've got this next TV rights deal. I wouldn't be surprised if they start putting a salary cap on the NRLW.
Yeah, it's just desperately needed. Silly. Absolutely silly.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be detrimental to the competition if this is allowed to happen. That's what's going to happen. You need the level playing field because everyone improves at a good rate. Everyone gets opportunities. And that's how you lead to expansion.
Exactly. And look at the Panthers have won the last 4 titles. They've lost about 2 or 3 NRL teams, quality teams during that time. And you've never once heard me say, I wish the salary cap didn't exist. I completely support the salary cap. Need it. Have to have it.
Yes. 100% vital. So, we're coming into the pointy end of the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other saying, which is much worse, is the big dance.
Yes.
So you can use either of those.
I'm looking forward to obviously the grand finals, looking forward to the Pacific Championships. That'll be good. So we'll see what happens. And then I guess once all that's done and dusted, which we will be, podcasting throughout all that, then we'll have the King of Rugby League Awards. Yep. We've both got to start thinking about who will win all those awards, which will be fun.
We're going to hold off on those awards until after the Ashes, just in case an Englishman comes out of nowhere to win it.
It's possible, hey? Oh, shit.
Oh, boy. Yeah. There's still plenty to go. Plus, the F1 season still rolls on. I think there's a race on this weekend as well.
Yeah, they've got 27 races left.
Yeah, we're halfway through the year.
Yeah, I think they're in Singapore from memory.
They are, yes.
Yeah, so we've still got so much we've got left to do.
Yeah, we're still going to be doing stuff about 2025 next year.
Yeah, it'll be good.
So much catching up to do.
We should do some history. We should bank some history episodes during the off season. Hey, like not that we have much of an off season, but
I need to start work on a few. I've got a few good ones in the pipeline to start doing some research on, which will be pretty cool. So
we could do one about when rugby league was formed in 1998.
There's an idea. I think we kind of did that already. We did all the ones about all the administration working up from 1994 onwards.
Yeah, pretty much.
Those season by season things where they just played practice games of football.
Yeah. They played 90 years and it wasn't real.
It was just blokes around a barbecue going, how's about you 15 blokes just line up? Yeah. And you other 15 blokes play against each other. They don't all go on the field at once. Like someone might get hurt or need a breather. So you just
hardly even documented the games at all until 1998. So
mate, they didn't even have team names.
No, in fact they
Jono's mob rules. Versus Smithy's mob.
Rules were completely different, and
but they didn't even draw sidelines on. They just had bags in the corners for the corner posts.
Show me proof that anything happened before 1998. Just show me any proof.
There's none, mate. There weren't even cameras back then.
Nah.
You can't document any of that.
How could it have happened if there were no iPhones or Google?
Exactly right. So I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yeah. It was just like the Brisbane Rugby League. It's just the exact same thing.
Ka-ching. Right. Well, that's been a stellar performance by everyone involved.
Yeah, I like the two people that produced this podcast. It was very good of them. They did really well, and I can't wait for this grand final. I hope it's a really special game. I think the ratings are going to be unbelievable, especially if it's a game like that Panthers versus Broncos game where it's just building up to this awesome moment. I can't wait. It's going to be great. It's already a sellout. It's great.
It's going to be phenomenal. Looking forward to it big time. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you check us out on all of the socials, and we will catch us all next time.